Hey folks, hey, we're back in the middle of a storm nonetheless. As I said, this is one of the scenarios where you can have, a random death encounter. At this moment, it doesn't actually look like we've come across it, so we're fine and we should be able to carry on to California from here. So I'm just trying to fiddle around, trying to find a lighter cigarette as per usual. That's sorted. There's not much you can do here. This is just a scene to show you kind of a little bit more, I guess. That we're in the ship now, everyone's down below hiding. As you can see, the pig's up on the top deck, carrying for his life as well. See if we can talk to anyone. None of these men are interested in talking to you right now. They're busy worrying whether the ship will survive the storm. We'll go out. We'll go for a little walk. There's a few people around. I think they will just say the same thing as usual. Engine man says, I have a complete faith in engines, but I have my doubts about the ship. I hope we make it. So the dialogue does change. Just talk to everyone and then we'll carry on our way. The man at the table says, right now I wish I was back in Pennsylvania with my family. The ship sounds like it's going to come apart. The cook says, the only time I don't think about food is when I'm in the storm running Cape Horn. I just hope the ship doesn't break up. So the ship's cook's obviously used to it by now, but he still has doubts. We'll talk to these men. The workers agree. The last thing on our minds right now is all the gold in California. All we want to do is make it through the storm alive. Well, I'm pretty comfortable that we will. And there's our friend Eric. Of course, we'll talk to him before we carry on. He might be doing alright now. Great concern, you ask Eric, how have you been lately? Eric replies, I'm doing terribly well. However, if the conditions get any worse, I don't know if I will make it. We'll look at him, see if he looks better at least. You see the once powerful form of Eric sitting slouched on the steps, writing in his journal. Can we look at his journal? What Eric writes in his journal is none of your business. Well, it seems Eric, a good friend, is not as well as he used to be. That's unfortunate. Hopefully he makes the rest of the journey though. We'll look at the captain's desk. He's not there anymore. Paperclip that was lying on the desk is now lying on the floor. It must have been tossed there by the storm. We'll get the clip. Pick up the paperclip and put it in your pocket. That's fair enough. And we'll go up and talk to the captain and the first mate as well. You can't go on deck when the storm's coming. I'll show you why quickly. Ship storm. Is this ship storm? I don't know. But this is what happens. The howling wind is too much for you. You're blown overboard into an icy grave. Well, you get blown over. Kind of interesting way to go. Anyway, talk to the captain. The captain yells, don't bother me with small talk right now, young man. I've got my hands full. I can't blame him for that attitude. Then we'll talk to the first mate. The first mate doesn't even realize you're talking to him. He's intently listening to each command of the captain. And that's all we can do here. There is one more thing you possibly can do. I might as well just check that now. We have a paperclip from the captain's quarters. We'll need to use that in the next scene we come across. I believe. Well, there is one more thing that you need, and two more things. Well, okay, there's three more things, but two of them aren't available now that I can see from that screen. I'm just wondering if the other one's available. You're in the bunk room. It's the most popular spot to wait out the storm. I'll just type it in and see if you can get it. Thinking that the string might come in handy someday. You pick it up and put it in your pocket. I'm not sure how you meant to spot that string. I think when you come across this actual scene, it does point out the strings there. from what I recall, it's meant to have come off somebody's sock or something weird like that. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember right now, but I just knew you pick up the string. And I'm pretty sure there is an actual indication. Unlike the coin puzzle, there's an actual indication there that you can pick it up. Just before rounding Cape Horn, the captain points out the seat rocks, which are coloured white from bird droppings. How nice. Rounding the Cape from east to west is not an easy task. If all goes well, it is usual for a sailing ship to allow 3 to 5 weeks to get to the west side of the Horn. Winds in the area of the Cape rarely blow less than 45 miles per hour, and almost from the west. Gales in this area can easily pick up a schooner and smash into the rocky shore. The raging seas are a temperature of melting ice. You scarcely get 6 hours of daylight. When it's light, it's of little benefit. The overcast hugs the sea, and visibility is very low. It's not uncommon for it to snow here in the summertime. The captain is continuously looking through his looking glass, keeping track of the ship's progress and position. He also makes regular entries in his log religiously. Nowhere is navigation more difficult than these waters. Some sailing ships would take 70 days around the Cape. Some ships would turn back because of damage the sea has done to them. Some ships would not make it at all. Occasionally you see floating wreckage and debris from less fortunate vessels. Lately you've been feeling a little nauseous, like perhaps dehydrated. Well, here we go. Here's one of the random deaths I told you about. Unfortunately it's unavoidable, and in minutes, well seconds really, we'll collapse to the floor and that's it. We'll just wait for that to happen. We'll go stroll to the captain, see if we can make it to the oh, we didn't make it. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes terrible things happen. Dreaded disease of cholera has knocked on your door. Your misery is over. So like I said, the game is notorious for random deaths like that, and I mean you get all that way and just to die like that, it's not really the best position to be in. So anyway, I'll pause the video here and I'll see if I can catch up to where we left off, just rounding the Cape. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. And we're back. We're okay this time. We survived and avoided the dreaded disease of cholera. Again, we're just sitting around, so we'll take a walk around the ship, see what's going on. Talking about it, all these guys are much the same. We'll talk to Eric, see if he's doing any better. We've passed the storm now, so we should be alright, and that means Eric should be a bit better. At least hopefully. Oops. Talk to Eric. With all enthusiasm, Eric Kamasi says, I feel very weak, Jared, but I'm going to make it to California. I'm determined to make it to California. Trying to be as convincing as possible, you say, that's right, we're both going to make it to California. And we'll take a look at him again. When you met Eric, he was strong and healthy. Now he's thin and very weak. He stays outside despite the cold to breathe the fresh air. So he's perhaps not as healthy as he's letting on. Everyone else, I think, makes the same conversation, so I'm just going to check if one of the other items we need is available. For some reason it is going very slow here. Or at least Jared's movement's a bit low. I'm not too sure why that is, but I will talk to the captain and see what story he has to tell this time as well. There we go. I think he told us one actually. Did I ever tell you about the time I broke the existing world record for the quickest trip from London to Hong Kong? Well, I think you did actually tell that story before. So sorry, Captain, you did. Yes, the other item that we need is available. You might have recalled, or if you go back and double check, this yellow thing here was a stick. Well, is a stick. It used to be connected to a shovel blade, which I of course made a full shovel. We'll look at the stick. Oops, not tick. Jesus. My S key is just not wanting to work for some reason. During the storm, the shovel that used to rest here was broken. All that's left of it is a wooden stick. And we'll get there. We do need it later on, but for the moment, we're the workers don't mind if you take the stick after all. It's just useless old stick. I believe at this point, if we didn't pick up the string, you could actually go into the room and check, and that's how you find it. Again, I'm not too sure. I didn't actually do that this time around. I just left it as is, really. I just picked up a stick during the storm scene again and just carried on until we got to this point. But anyway, that's all we need to do here. I'll just take a look in this room, in the bunk room. Nope. And we'll carry on. Everyone else on the ship has the same thing to say, so it doesn't really matter. With the rounding of Cape Horn, also called Cape Stiff by many sailors because of the difficulty rounding it, behind you, the captain steers the steamer north by northwest. It's everyone's goal to reach the port of Valparaiso, which also means Paradise Valley. So we're around the Cape, so hopefully that means Eric is going to pick right up any minute now. We've made it past the worst part. As the temperatures rise, so do your spirits. So we're getting warmer at least. We're getting close to the sunshine of California. Off the coast of Chile, this ocean is swarming with sea cows. A little farther off coast of Chile, about 400 miles to be exact, is Juan Fernandez, the island most often recognized as the island on which Robinson Crusoe was actually exiled in 1704. Every person on board has been looking forward to arriving at Valparaiso. They have been in close quarters for too long. The port of Valparaiso is shallow, so the boat is anchored offshore. People go ashore and supplies are brought aboard, continuous stream of small boats going back and forth from shore to ship. While ashore, people were nearly killed for a current newspaper to read. But the word is confirmed. Gold has been discovered in California. We waste no time in loading the ship with only that which is absolutely necessary and head to California. So gold's been discovered. I just want to see what happened if I did that. So gold's been found. Again, the announcement hasn't been made in game so much because again we're playing in fast mode, so the normal time spread is not there. Once it hits 14 minutes, regardless of where you are in the game, the announcement gets made. There's pretty much no chance you would actually be at California by that point if you were playing a normal the whole time. Even if you rushed through everything in Brooklyn, there was no chance you'd actually be able to get to California that I can think of before the 14 minutes is elapsed. I mean, unless you really rushed through everything, I don't think it's possible. These scenes are quite long. In every route, especially the wagon trail is quite long. I'd say while the Panama route is the most interactive of the routes, you do the most at least, it's probably the shortest because you don't have as much of these scenes at least. Anyway, we'll carry on. The only excitement today was the crossing of the tropical Capricorn for the second and last time on this voyage. The unbearable heat isn't far away again. And we're moving at a snail's pace. I'm not sure why the game's doing this, but it is. I'm sorry about that. See if I can fix it by next video. When the captain sees another ship, he always knows what kind of ship it is and under what flag it sails. There goes a British full-rigged free master. Saw an interesting sight today. Flying fish. Fishing has become one of the favourite pastimes, especially since the weather has warmed up. Those who don't partake in the fishing enjoy watching for whales and porpoises. And we're speeding up again at least. On the west side of South America, the crew anticipates arriving in California and begins putting things in order. The crew is busy scrubbing the deck, chipping off rust, painting and polishing. Most of the passengers who were keeping journals at the beginning of the trip have stopped by now. But throughout the entire trip, people have been reading whatever they can get their hands on. Many days aboard the ship are spent in utter monotony. There's nothing to do nothing to do, at least nothing you feel like doing. But watch the occasional ship come and go. Watch the sun rise out of the water, move across the sky, then set into the water again, day after day after day. The last leg of the journey is slow and seems to drag on forever. The walls seem to be moving in. You're positive the ship is only half the size it was when it left Brooklyn. Moments of solitude and privacy are non-existent. Fellow passengers who only a month ago were easy to get along with now seem impossible to tolerate. Fights break out over trifles. There's constant bickering and gossip. Well, hopefully we make it there. God, everything's just falling apart now. Before, you complained of the same food to eat meal after meal, but now you would gladly eat anything. Provisions are running dangerously low. Food is running out on board the ship. Everyone's suffering. One man has already died. We'll look for Eric. He should be able to help us. Find Eric. Eric was buried at sea. So Eric was unfortunately the man who died. As you see, he's no longer in his regular position, and he's been thrown overboard. I guess they gave him a proper funeral. We have a Bible. Another thing that you notice, look at the coal. It's now completely depleted. Yeah. We'll talk to the cook quickly. Actually, I want to save the game just in case, because you have to do this bit under a very strict time limit, whether you're fast or not. Food. The cook says the provisions are gone. All that's left is the ship's mascot. It is now steaming on the table. There's only one problem. I may have waited too long before preparing the pig. It may be disease, so no one has the nerve to try one. The man sitting at the table. So we'll take some meat. Grab yourself a nice slab of meat from the steaming pig. I think everybody says the same stuff. So what you need to do, I was actually going to see if you could talk to anyone else about provisions running low, but from what I can tell, it's the same. Did I ever tell you about the time I maneuvered that overloaded steam in the Straits from Magellan? I think you did tell us. You can repeat the stories here. Oh well, I guess there's only 2 stories he tells. I had the feeling he actually told a few more, but apparently not. Anyway, this bit has always seemed a bit strange to me, especially since just in the last few scenes at least, mentioned that people like to go fishing. And, well, let's look at our inventory quickly. We've got gold flake, gold coin, Bible, string, piece of ham, family photos, lettuce, wooden stick, paper clip, and envelope. So you can kind of probably figure out what we do. Here, tie string to just stick. Oops. Tie string to stick. My God, I don't know what's with the typing today. Use string on stick. Tie. Use paper clip. String. Use clip on string. Fish. That's right. Yeah. I actually forgot something. You need to get something to weigh the line down, which is in the. I think it's by the machine, which the guy usually keeps his eye on. That there's some metal scrapings on the ground, which you pick up, and of course, I think it's over this part here. If I'm right. Oops, but that's interesting. Considering all the work goes on here, the area stays surprisingly clean. There's a few metal scraps left on the floor. Get metal. You scoop up the metal scraps, being careful not to cut your hands and put it in your pocket. We took too long, as I said. We had quite a strict time limit, so I just let them die quickly, and then we'll get back to that. I just forgot that you had to pick up the metal pieces, so you get to see another death. How lucky you are. Once we do that, I just noticed the time. I should really wrap up. It's been a bit on for a bit, but we'll go fishing, and we should be able to get to California, I think. There's something around to eat, you just needed to find it. That's not technically true. So we need to get the meat again. And, well, since we know what to do now, we can quickly run through this. So that should be all we need. Just noticed there's only one guy downstairs at the moment, so I wonder if the other man died as well. That's interesting, I've never actually noticed that before. It says with these men, but there's only actually one down there. That's interesting, I've never actually noticed that before. I don't know if it's a glitch or what's going on exactly, but hey, I mean, if you know, comment. So this time we should be able to go fishing. But as I was saying, it's weird that just a few scenes before I mentioned that people like to go fishing, and yet no one's fishing here, and no one thought that we should fish to replenish supplies. Well, you've done it. You've found the perfect place to fish. You have everything you need to do it. You pulled a string you found in the bunk room out of your pocket and attached it to one end of the wooden stick. The other end you attached to the paper clip. And you tied the metal scraps on the engine you found to the string a few feet from the paper clip. And at last, but certainly not least, you gladly take that piece of pork from your pocket and carefully place it on the paper clip so it won't fall off. With great anticipation, you lower the makeshift apparatus into the churning sea. Here, fishy, 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 we're waiting. Well, it doesn't appear he's having any luck, because that's clearly not a fish. That's a submarine, a Russian sub. I've always kind of expected this part to be another random death scenario, in that it may be possible not to catch a fish or something like that. I'm surprised that's not possible. After all the other random deaths in the game, I'm surprised that's not one of them. But you just kind of sit back and watch the scene, even though you've got the ability to type, it doesn't do anything. Kind of weird, I guess. Once again, Jared, you've saved the day and the lives of those around you. It's also interesting that, especially that line of dialogue there, kind of indicates how important your input is, I guess, to this route. And it's obviously the same with the other routes. I think, again, perhaps not as much so on the Panama route. There is one scene where you're kind of relied on, but in this route, and definitely the stagecoach route, people seem to depend on you a lot. And I mean, since we're not taking the stagecoach route or the Panama route, you kind of wonder about the safety of those people, since we're not on that trip. Anyway, we saved the day. You were on the catch of the day and share it with all your companions. Now you'll all make it to California, from just one fish as well. The captain has given word that you are only a few weeks from the coast of California. This seems to calm everyone's nerves. The arguments and fights subside. So hopefully we can get it to California, and then we'll wrap up the video, and next time we'll start on a different route. I haven't decided which one yet. I'm thinking perhaps the stagecoach one. As the ship nears California, you begin to forget your hardships and the tough times you've just endured. The promise made by the Almighty, the promises made to the Almighty while rounding the Cape are all but forgotten. Somehow those times don't seem so tough now. Much more important now is the topic of nearly every conversation on the ship, where people plan to go to search for gold, how they're going to get it, and what they're going to do with the fortune they discover there. There's only so much fretting and worrying about arriving too late and missing out on the best opportunities. Hopefully there will be still plenty of gold left when you get there. For the crew, no portion of the voyage is without danger. They must maintain their vigilance to the very end. You are fortunate that the ship has sufficient supply of coal to make it to California. Other steamers ran out of coal, When that happens, spars, doors, bunks, and portions of the deck were ripped up to feed the firebox to keep the ship moving towards the gold fields. The ship is now approaching the Golden Gate, and your journey is approaching its end. The dense fog makes it difficult, not to mention dangerous, to find the entrance to the Golden Gate. And we died again. No, we're fine. All hands are on deck as you approach California. To the gold-seeking passengers on board, it's a long-awaited promised land. Beautiful music there. Everyone cheers for the captain as he guides the ship through the Golden Gate. The shoreline is covered with lush green plants. What a beautiful sight. The bay is filled with boats of all kinds from every country. The boats and ships are too numerous to count. It looks as if they're stacked on top of each other, but they seem to be deserted. Everyone on board is sure they are too late now. Energy levels run high among the prospectors on board. They know there's no time to waste. The captain takes you across the bay and up to the Sacramento River. You have 95 of 95, you're on the right track. So we're here. There's one last thing you have to do, and this part is also very annoying. You have this little white kind of dot, I'm not sure if you can see it, moving at the bottom on the boat. You're very hard to see and very hard to navigate. And you've got a very short time to get off the boat, and I'm not even sure where the right area is. It appears we're off. Yep. And what you got to do is building the top right, well, not the very top right, but this building in white. Inside the building, it looks like Sutters Fort stage is prepped and ready to roll. Get on coach. You jump aboard the stage bound for Sutters Fort, and you're on your way. This part is again not that obvious, and again it's under quite a strict time limit. If you don't make it to stagecoach, it leaves, and apparently there's not another one for the rest of existence of time. There's two problems with that. One, I'll show you quickly before I wrap up this video. And two, I mean, there's no hint towards it. There's no, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, really, put it that way. But here we are, Sutters Fort. This is where we'll wrap up the game, but I'll just show you something, the part that bugs me. First thing I'll show you, since you probably... No, I won't show you that actually. I'll leave a little taste for you to come in the future. But you saw this map before. This is where the stagecoach took us. And look, we can just walk there. It takes no time at all. We're not stuck. We're not stranded. Again, it just really bugs me. But anyway, we'll wrap up there. We're at Sutters Fort, and we're at California. Gold and our brother await us. And I'll see you next time before we take the next trip to California. We're not there yet.